All right, today's project is a cautionary tale. I saw this bike for sale and knew it was for sale for a couple of years, at least a year and a half. It was on sale online. And I'd bought parts from the guy and stuff, and he's a really nice guy. His bikes run nice. And this bike just sat in his garage. And it was complete before. He didn't have all this stuff off. The bike was all complete. It looked a little different, but it was complete. And a friend of mine was looking at it, and he was thinking about it. And I said, you know what? Screw it. I'll just buy it, and then we'll fix the things that I like on it. And if my friend wants to buy it, then that's great. If not, I'll ride it around for a while, and then I'll sell it. So what we both liked about it was the beige and pea green paint, because you never really see that. It's not stock, and that's why. So it had a white seat. We changed it around, and I don't know who the seat was made by, but this one's a Cimarron, or Cimarron markets it or sells it. I don't know. I think it's made in Italy. Really nice reproduction. So we changed that to black seat. It had white walls on it. Pull the white walls off, put Avons on it, and it just gives it a nice, classic, old look, Anyways, it doesn't do anything else much very well. So first time we rode it earlier this year, it had a shifting problem, and I thought it was partially in the case, and it had some kicker problems. So I bought a Baker kick. Actually, I bought an OEM kicker cover in really good shape, not this one. And I was going to change that out, and I was going to change out the top cover with a Baker N1, and there's a video that I have in my video, in my videos of that. Had a couple other things wrong with it, but let's cover this part first. So it wouldn't shift right. We tried to adjust it all out. We knew when we looked at it that the cover had a crack in it, which is right there, and there was no way we were going to leave that on. I was just going to get an OE cover, but I was like, you know what, the Baker's so much nicer. So we got the Baker, and I figured, between this weld up job here and some adjustment here, and maybe rebuilding the spring and pawl in here, that I could get it to shift correctly. Well, as I take it apart and I take a look inside here, you'll notice that, let's see if I can do this again. That screw right there is not supposed to be moving. So let me get a flashlight on this. You can see the case is broken out right there next to the screw, which is horrible, right? You can see the gap to the right side of to the left side over there, where the shaft can actually move back and forth. So it is not going to shift well whether I have a Baker cover on it or not. So I'm considering now putting a 6-in-4 box in it, or looking for another case. Cases now in the last couple of years are $700 to $1,500. That's horrible. So, like I said, you guys saw what I went through with the Ironhead that I just bought, the black one. Now I've got problems with this FL. Also, the belt. So he did a belt drive upgrade, and the belt is running on the basket. So we're either out of alignment or shim here, or something's going on up here. Not sure yet, but more work to do there also. Good thing about this bike was the frame had been looked at by Dr. Johns, and I have a receipt from him, stating that the frame, they didn't have to straighten it, but it was in good shape. What else was wrong with this bike when we bought it? Had some parts we wanted to replace, like this Chinese cover, right? Not really up for having Chinese parts on it. So I had to source this cover, which is the right cover for the bike. Not new old stock, but a really clean original that had never been dented up or anything. I mean, this cover is awesome. Anyways, look at the chrome though. I just had it plated, and look at the pitting in the chrome. Freaking ridiculous, dude. $600 to plate just this outside cover, and the chrome looks like that. Took it back, and all of a sudden the guy doesn't speak English anymore. It's freaking ridiculous. What else about this bike? Had the wrong rear fender on, or still has the wrong rear fender on it. So had the wrong tail light. That was the first tip off, like wrong tail light on a 58. So we're going to have to change that fender. And the pinstriping, you know, you would stripe, the green should probably come up to the lip here, the weld line, and then the stripe be thinner and down about there. Just little details like that are going to bother me. And, you know, it's got the right plate now. It had the wrong bracket. It's got the right bracket now. It had the wrong plate. He had given me a 58 style, or a 58 plate, which is like this one, 56, and then you have to have the year on it. But his plate had a repop decal, and the decal had a number. Since it was repop, a bunch of bikes would have this same serial number, right? This serial number goes on your registration as with the plate. So if that number is in the DMV list somewhere, that's not good. So somebody that's a real asshole, it's a federal offense. So we found a new old stock plate too. That was awesome. This came out of a guy's museum collection, but he was willing to sell it. So what else did we change on this? Like I said, we went to a Linkert carb, which is a whole nother can of worms, how to get the cable linkage to work and everything, because it didn't have, let's see if I can get in there. It didn't have a cable on it before. It had a key in. So, I mean, it did have a cable, but this type, when you roll the throttle, it doesn't have a spring return. So he wanted a J-slot, and I like the J-slot air cleaner too. So I dug up one of these. As good as new old stock. This is a company that was making them, and I think they got sued. Cimarron had these for a while. This thing is, the impression on the back, look at that. This, if nobody told you this wasn't real, you wouldn't know. Or that it was a repop. This is a repop. That's what I'm saying. This is the way this kit comes. Parkerized, the filter, it's awesome. The parts that we're putting back on the bike are awesome. I'm going to change out this. So we'll get rid of this pop-off regulator, put the right regulator on it, fix the wiring, which we've already done a bunch of it just to get it to start riding right. I found a set of Hollywood handlebars for it, so I'm going to switch out the bars. Anyways, like I said, just a lot of extra money in a bike that already started out kind of expensive. So my word to the wise would be, if you find a bike that you really like, and it's not, you know, and you see a bunch of little stuff wrong with it, maybe you should keep looking for another one that you like a little bit more. Where you know, because there's a lot of good backyard mechanics, but man, they take shortcuts, and that kind of stuff just kills the money in these bikes. You know, you never get it back out of them. So that's it. Oh, and it has the wrong heads on it too. That's another thing. So there's gonna be another $1,000-$1,500 to put the right heads on it. Like I said, it just adds, you know, it just spirals. And you know, I could easily end up with 30 grand in this bike trying to fix it and get it back to what it's supposed to be, and then trying to get that out of a non-original bike that's a mild custom. And I'm only saying mild custom because it's, you know, not all the parts are 100%. Obviously, they're not all, you know, Harley parts and stuff on it, but it's, you know, like the front end. It's got 60 front end on it, which I kind of like on there. So, all right, well, subscribe, stay tuned, like, dislike. Kind of getting up there, getting close to 100 videos, which is kind of cool. So, all right, guys, appreciate you guys tuning in.